Hi, I'm John Everett, owner of Resell Unlimited LLC. And today, we're going to be talking about upcycling and restorations. Since I was a young lad, I enjoyed resale and collecting. I especially liked antique stores going with my mother and my grandmother. And one thing I have learned since starting my business is that it is true what my mentor said that we have to ask ourselves, what is our social contribution? And at the time she said that, I thought, oh, what could that be? Selling vintage or used. But we have a lot to offer. And here's why. Having worked in the storage industry for 10 years, I found out quickly the United States will pay more per square foot in a storage locker than they would their own apartment for stuff they don't use anymore. We have landfills that are growing exponentially all the time because we throw things away. We're just a wasteful society. One of the number one contributors to major manufacturing and pollution is the clothing industry. So needless to say, there's a lot of room for improvement. So I've started a campaign for 2021 called the Take Two philosophy. It's very simple. It's recycle, upcycle, reuse, resell. Because we feel like there's a lot of artistic merit out there that can use vintage in ways we never thought possible. I also feel like when we do this, then we slow the pollution, we minimize the landfills. And lastly, I know all too well, it is a perfect way to start a business. Used to, they'd say, it takes money to make money, but not when you're reselling stuff out of your closet that you don't need anymore. We see people that are becoming minimalist. We see people that are becoming more environmental conscious. And that's a good thing. So I want to be on the forefront of that and to encourage people and show people how they can do it. I remember before I got on Pinterest for marketing, I thought it was just some site for women who like crafting. Boy, was I wrong. What I found out was much like a restaurant we have here in Mobile. I went in one time and I noticed that the tables at the bar were made out of old trolling motors. It was the coolest thing ever. Once I got on Pinterest, I found out that's what they do a lot of. They'd take old guitar cases and make them coffee tables, you name it. The front end of a VW Volkswagen Bug and turn it into a grill. It's awesome. So these are things that I want to do and I want to share with you to kind of maybe get your creative juices going so you can make a small contribution to help us quit being such a wasteful society. Major manufacturing trains us that way. Cell phones, they want them to go dead before they really need to go dead. Me, I'd still be using the same old phones, landlines. My mother was the first one that introduced me to restorations when she gave me this American Bosch radio for Christmas one year. She did the fabric and she cleaned it up and made it look really nice with minimal effort. This is a dresser that belonged to my father, born in '46. He sanded it, gave it to me. And this is a dresser that I got from a friend whose father passed away. It was a dresser he had meant to restore, but it had smoke damage. All I had to do was clean it up, and I chiseled away the paint on top to bring back the original white, and I bought some new knobs. That's it. I'm one that believes in leaving it original whenever possible. But I think it turned out really nice, and I highlighted the white piece too as well. Now this is a perfect example of Art Deco. It was already starting to fade and it needed sanding. It was going to have to be done. So I went ahead and sanded it down but left it there just so that the buyer could see its potential and be able to focus on the Art Deco design and the aerodynamics of this thing because it's so futuristic looking for something so old. But, of course, it leaves it free for them to paint it however they choose to do it. This light fixture is a beautiful fixture, and really it needs nothing at all, just to be left the way it is. You could use it for a goldfish bowl, I figure. I have to give my father credit. When I was a kid, he gave me a BMX bike I thought, up until a couple of years ago, was brand new. But no, he had gotten it out of a dump, and he had sanded it down and repainted it. It was my favorite bike, and I wish I had that bike now. As you can see, this is a bike. It's a Schwinn that I'm going to be restoring here soon, and I got for little of nothing, and they go for quite a pretty penny if you buy them already restored. Sometimes things like lamps just need a new shade or need a little touch of something, like this lamp, to give it a little pop or character. It's just kind of lost its pizzazz like we do as we get older. But fortunately, we can help the items out. Unfortunately, we can't do that for ourselves. As you see, these shades are ones that I made just to kind of give it a little pop for the decor that we have. Some shades we just buy from thrift stores that don't go with the original lamp, but they look good, however, so we put them together. I've actually sold one for $75. This one right here, I only paid $10 at Goodwill. So as you see, a lot of times it's just a matter of looking at something differently, not necessarily reusing it as something it wasn't, but just giving it more life. Sometimes it's just ingenuity to preserve something. These were cereal premiums that a gentleman got out and he put them all on the board so he could keep up with them and not lose them. Pretty genius. People have taken the old ads out of magazines with cars and sold them to car collectors, which is good money to be made. I did the same thing with Star Wars because I had a Star Wars collection. So these are vintage ads out of different toy catalogs. And I framed them and I sold them for 3 or 4 times the cost of it. I took a figurine and a card I bought off of eBay and put it in a frame. My brother loves the Beatles, so I made this for his birthday. And this was just a letter from the Star Wars Club, fan club, and a patch. I framed. And those are just a few examples. Sometimes you have something that can't be used as it was intended, like this TV that I made into an aquarium. So you find creative ways that you can use it. This was a box purse and it was missing something. I'm not sure what originally went there. So I replaced it with fabric so it could still be functional without losing any items. And it was really cool looking in my opinion. These are cups a friend of mine had collected that had broken their saucer or what have you, and she just used them to make other things, like this jewelry holder. This is Mardi Gras frisbees and Mardi Gras ornaments that we had left over. This is a piece that was going to be thrown out from another piece of furniture, and I took the top and put it with a piece of wood to make this really cool table. This was a puffy sticker of Pinocchio I got, and it came in this frame, but it was just on a piece of cardboard. It was kind of drab. The frame is actually from Disney as well and is dated from the 70s. So I printed up a picture of the fairy godmother from Pinocchio and placed it in there to give it more of an active scene. I think it turned out well. Recently, I've taken an interest into customizing bicycles. So what I wanted to do was to do so without buying these other parts that you would put on there. And what I challenged myself to do was to take the 2 bikes I had and just interchange them and use items from around the house to make it its own unique bike, without having to purchase other stuff that had been manufactured. It's not about taking business away from the manufacturers or killing jobs. It's just about minimizing how often we need the resources that they provide us. I mean, how badly do we need those items? Does it merit us destroying the environment for these things? I've also learned to use things that I can't sell or use otherwise and turn it into art. I call this piece Cage the Clown. It's about letting your own silliness out. Recently, I acquired 2 pieces and I've yet to figure out what I'm going to do with them. This used to be an old heat motion lamp, but it's missing all its parts. So I've got to figure out what to do, but I'm thinking maybe picture frame? I don't know. If you have any ideas, post them in the comments. I also purchased these old fast food restaurant chairs, which I'm going to use as bar stools, either inside or outside around the fireplace. So those are just a few of the possibilities and examples of how you can reuse and recycle and upcycle. So I hope it's giving you some ideas and you will share any projects you take on to help the environment and find creative ways to reuse things before you decide to throw them away. This is just another way that we are rethinking, reinventing, resell. I'm John with Resell Unlimited LLC. Have a wonderful and momentous day.